Success. Finally, success. Warning. Next thing you're going to see is a rat in a trap. And there's no blood, okay? There's no blood. It's amazing. It's amazing. After all of these weeks trying to catch this stupid rat, in the beginning it was rats, and then it was mice, but we filled in all the holes. We screwed the window screens tight to the wall inside, or made a little turn thing so it would push it against the wall really good. Because some of the little hook latches, they don't hold. If the wood is warped, it won't hold the whole frame of the hardware cloth screen to the wall. So we fixed it. There's one that probably needs a little bit of a fix, but that window's closed for now. And all of a sudden we went down to 2 rats, and then we went down to 1 rat. And this 1 rat has been evading all traps. I have the animal cage. I had the old-fashioned snap traps. And that wouldn't even touch them. All baited with peanut butter, which we've caught a lot of mice with peanut butter over the years. And it just didn't care. Didn't want no peanut butter. And I noticed it was running around and eating grains off the floor. So I thought, well, I'll put some grains in the peanut butter. It'll go in for the grains and then it'll get caught. No, didn't want those as long as in there. They didn't care for the peanut butter, I guess, which is bizarre. Now, I have a feeling that mice are not as smart as rats. So mice get caught a lot more. Rats, they're pretty smart. They're pretty wily. Well, I'd go for 3 days. I set up game cameras in 3 different angles, and then I would set up a wire animal cage. You have to go into the cage, and you have to dispose of the live animal. And I finally got the big tomcat traps, the big black ones that have these evil-looking teeth on them, and they have this pressure plate. And man, don't get your finger caught in one of those things, because my God, you could break a finger. It would at least hurt really bad. So we've had 2 of those. And I went ahead and got some of the mouse traps that were similar. Those are sensitive. I mean, you can't even set it and then sit on the tail will snap on you. So I usually put it on the floor and then push it open, and that's it. I leave it. But no, nothing. So I said, we went somewhere, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And on the way back, I said, let's stop into Tractor Supply. I can replace one of my signs that's all tattered in the wind, and then my little, flags, nobody here but us chickens or something. And maybe let's get some rat bait, some actual real rat bait. I had the little pellet things they're supposed to like to eat, but they may have eaten some of them may have died under the floor somewhere from eating those. I don't know, but this one was not touching anything. So, I went and I looked for the rat bait, and I went and it has a little squeezy bottle, little 1-ounce squeeze bottle of some green gel-like stuff. I squeezed this bottle till it squished. I thought, is there anything in this? Has somebody already used all this and put it back on the shelf? But it started coming out eventually. It's this green gel. It's bright, dark green gel, okay? And shiny, very shiny. And it says it's irresistible to mice. Now, I figured rats would want it too. And it also, it says works better than cheese or peanut butter. Now I wasn't going to put cheese in there because I'm not sacrificing my cheese. So anyway, I came home and I baited all of the traps with that green stuff. Just a little teeny little squeeze of it in every single bait cup that was in there. And I set it out last night, and I thought, if this doesn't work, because it would go for 3 days with all the things set up for 3 days, I wouldn't even see it. It wouldn't even come in the barn. And then next night it would be all over the place. 50 triggers from the game cameras, and it would just go all around it, avoiding. It wants into the cage trap, the big cage trap. It wants in there because it can smell what is in there. Because I have a lot of grain, I just put scratch grains in there, and it wanted in there, but it wouldn't go in more than just half of its body. And it would just not go in anywhere. And I was getting very frustrated. So I came home, I baited all the traps, I set all the traps. This morning I went in, and this is what I saw. And here's a clip. I'm put a clip in here of the moment. I don't know if it's a moment because it doesn't show where the trap was. It shows after it flipped off after it had been snapped, and the big snap flipped it off of the platform onto the floor next to the roll-up door threshold. And yeah, so he, she, it is gone. I think it's a he. I'm not sure. If it is a he, it's a young one from the nether regions, I can tell. It doesn't really look female. But anyway, so I took that thing. I didn't want to leave it for Finn, for my cat. He's blind, but he can smell. I didn't want him to eat that. So I went ahead and I went out to the pasture and I dug a hole under a big pile of old shavings we put out there and buried it under there. So anyway, so by the size of this, there's no way it was coming around the track in the roll-up door. It wasn't coming in that way. It couldn't possibly come in that way. I think the track, between the edge of the door and the track itself is only like a half an inch, and then you'd have to actually turn and actually fold yourself in half and squeeze. I don't think it's possible for it to come in there. The only two things that make any sense were either it was climbing up the steel building and coming in that 2-inch gap at the very top of the roll-up door where it has to leave it open for the thing to roll, and or once it got in early on, when I had several in there and I was trying to fill up all the holes and everything, either it came in at some point in one of the easier access ways. Maybe it came out of the window. I don't know. I can't do that now. But it came in early, and every morning it was probably climbing up to the top. There's a soffit on the outside of the building. It can't get in there, I don't believe, but I think what could happen is he could have climbed up the wall, and when you touch the top of the OSB that makes up our walls, there's a little, it drops down into, and there's the metal is right there, the steel is right there of the trim, of the soffit trim. And it's like a box up there. He could have gone up there and stayed during the day and come back out at night, because it was just a little while after we left the barn that it would start out there and running around and trying to find the grains. So anyway, that's done. If there's more, I guess I'll find out. I'll set the game camera and a trap or two, and we'll find out if there's more. I think it's the same one. It was just one every night, just one. And I'm thinking it was just that one that somehow found him a sweet little place to rest up and came back out at night. So that's done. And I did mention, but before I go on to what I was going to tell you about, when I came home for Tractor Supply, I went back and let the chickens in the barn. And I walked I opened the pen door, and the entire group screamed and went flying and running to the other side of the pen, into the other section of the pen. They want nothing to do with me. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? And then I realized what they were freaking out about. This is what they were freaking out about. My new sloggers. Not in 19 years has a chicken freaked out over anything I wore, any way I redid my hair, any new glasses I had, any coats, shoes, boots, anything I had. None of my chickens have ever freaked out like that until this crazy, insane group. And I tell you, they're nuts. They freaked out, and they're still suspicious of my sloggers. And I don't know. Maybe they don't like the little chickens on them. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I've never had, this is the first time a chicken has ever freaked out over anything I wore. So, but on the way back from, when we went to Tractor Supply, we were on the way back from, well, let's just preface that by saying, I'd said we were thinking about building a house on our land again. And we are investigating different types of building at the moment. We are reinvestigating. We're going to reinvestigate the SIPS method of, the structural insulated panels, where it is built in a factory, but it's not called a manufactured home. It is built in a factory in modules that they come and they lower them down and they put them together like Legos. It is built to the same standards or higher than stick-built houses. And we, in fact, actually, they're probably stronger. They're stronger. They're more hurricane resistant. They're more energy efficient. But the cost to put one up is quite high. Used to be it was a cost-effective way. Now, after the lumber supply and everything dwindled, and I don't know what happened, but the prices have, like everything else, have skyrocketed. So I went and got an estimate, and the estimate was $100,000 more than I wanted to spend in the end, and it didn't include the foundation. What? It didn't include the foundation, well, septic, none of that stuff. Okay. So, you know, on the way back from there, I said, well, I think we're just going to cross that off, because there's no way that small house we want to build, they want that much for it. So, and they say it's cheaper to build one than to buy a standing house now, but that you couldn't prove it by me, because I can get any other house for over $300,000 around here that's a lot bigger than that I'm going to build. So, okay, so the next thing we wanted to investigate was modular. Now, here's where the problem is. I was a realtor for, you know, put my son through college being a realtor. And I once listed a mobile home, not a modular, a mobile home, mobile/manufactured home on 14 acres, okay? And at closing, they had to have the vehicle tag that went with that. They're more vehicle than they are house, technically. Now, this was in the late 90s, so yes, they look a little better now and all that kind of stuff. But in any case, and so there was a place we saw in the next state near us that it had a lot, and we went through a modular home one time. Okay, well, I said, well, maybe they're there. Well, I'm looking up trying to see if they're there, and I can't find them anywhere. And then I find a listing for Champion Homes. I don't know if that one was Champion, Clayton, or what, but they have modular and mobile homes. I was trying to figure it out, you know, I don't know. And I'm looking at places, and one place will say it's there, another place won't even list it. So these places are disappearing, honestly. Well, I did find closer than that was even a Champion Homes dealer. I'm looking at that and going, I don't ever remember seeing a lot there. That's a street off of a main little highway that runs between North Carolina and Tennessee. And I said, I don't remember seeing anything. I looked at it on the satellite, and I don't see anything. I see the pin, I see nothing. I don't see a lot there. I see trees. So I said, well, we're going to go down there, and if it's not there, we're going to just go on down where the other lot was, even though I can't find it on the internet anywhere, and see if it's still there. So we go in there, and there's a model home, and that is it, as far as I can see. It's just a home. Okay. Well, first the woman who was there wasn't there at 9 o'clock when they were supposed to open, and that bugs me. I don't like that. I don't know if she's a realtor or what. She's just in the office. Okay, she's a representative for the place. I don't know that she's a realtor. She didn't say she was. So anyway, we go and we talk to this person. And they're showing pictures of mobile homes. And she said, well, they can be built modular or mobile. I said, yes, I gathered that from the internet. I see that that's the case. And so right away I say, she's got this thing of like 3 different models on there, and they have the mobile home look, right? And I'm going, well, see, this is the problem. I don't like this, and this. I don't like this little peak on the front. They look like mobile homes to me. Trailers. What we call trailers. They're called trailers because they come in on trailers on wheels, okay? And they have a tongue attached that you have, if you want to put a foundation around them, you usually have to take that off, right? And take the wheels off. Well, I said, I don't like the looks of these. I want something that looks like a house. I don't care if it is a modular, if it looks like a mobile home, I'm not interested, okay? And she said, well, do you want to look at the house? I said, well, yeah, we're going to look around. We're going to walk around and see. And we did. Now, I realized that when you build a modular home, or you build an office for a mobile or modular home park, or show park, showroom. It's not a room, but it's like the lot. I realized they probably don't use the top of the line stuff in that particular one. But I tell you, walking through that, every dang thing in there looked plastic. Now, the floors were sheet vinyl. I don't want sheet vinyl. I want either wood floors or luxury plank vinyl floors that look like wood, okay? They're not sheet vinyl. It's sheet vinyl. And the kitchen cabinets looked like they had a coating of plastic on them. Everything looked plastic. Everything looked like a subdivision house. Inside looked like a subdivision house that I sold 100 of and I couldn't stand anymore. And then the outside looked like a rectangle. Just a plain rectangle with cheap vinyl siding on it, very cheap vinyl siding. And I said, it's ugly. It has nothing of interest on this house. It's just ugly. Now I realized that was the office and they probably are not going to do any high-end nothing on there. Which you'd think they show a few options. But the thing is, the price that she quoted was higher than the SIPs per square foot. And modular homes, mobile homes are definitely way cheaper than stick-built. Modular are supposed to be slightly cheaper for the square footage than stick-built. But I'm not paying over $300 a foot for something. It's all made of plastic. So anyway, we went through there and I said, I don't like this. I mean, the layout of the house is okay, but everything looks, at least it didn't have those horrible mobile home battens on the walls. You know, you had like cardboard walls and little battens where the two pieces come together. I hate that. I hate that. You know, I hate trailers, okay? My husband has a bad memory of trailers when he was a child, okay? But then, of course, that was back when there were no HUD standards. Let me tell you, then this person tried to tell me, oh no, these are built to the same standards as the modular homes. The mobile homes are built to the same standard. And I'm like, no, they're not actually. And I said, and she said, oh, they have modular units and they're not the same. They're built to the highest standards. And I said, if it has a HUD plate on it, it is a mobile home. It is not a modular. And she was trying to convince me of the thing that they're doing now, this big marketing thing that is, it's a hybrid. It's a manufactured modular hybrid. Folks, please don't be fooled by that. If it has a plate on it that has the HUD number on it, which is what mobile homes standards are, it is a mobile home. It's a manufacturer / mobile home. And they are built to HUD standards, not the other standards that stick-built homes. Modular homes are supposed to be built to the same or higher standards as stick-built homes. And they go a lot faster because they come in modules. They come in these little Lego modules and they put them together on site. And then they finish out the interior, right? And if I'm going to spend money on something like that kind of money, I want it to be something that doesn't look like a trailer. And she said, well, there are some that have porches on them. She said, we have 5 built. And she says, if you go up by the tractor place right here, which is a John Deere place, it was like on the other next road over from where she was, which it had no sign. She said, we have 5 standing. And so my husband said, well, do you want to go over there and look at that on the way out? I said, yeah. So we walked out. We didn't even say bye to her because she was on the phone with somebody else. And she had an appointment. And I thought, yeah, go tell the same lies to that person. So we went over there, and it was like box, a bunch of little boxes. And I looked at one, and I said, look at that. There's the tongue from the trailer. I said, that's a mobile home. And it may have been, what they're doing, instead of having the regular lot, is they were putting in a subdivision made with these houses and selling the houses. And that was their showroom, was the subdivision. And I walked through there and I said, I said, I don't get a good feeling at all about this stuff. And that's the only one I can find within 100 miles of me. And I'm not going all over just the entire northern half of the state looking for these places. If they're disappearing like they seem to be, that kind of gives me pause, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a local contractor that has a good reputation around here. And I'm going to give them my plans. I have 2 sets of plans. They're quite similar. One may cost less to build than the other. And then he can come here. He can look at the lot down there. He can assess the slope of the lot, where septic should be, where everything. He can give us the input, and then he can tell us how much the grading would be for the driveway and that kind of stuff, and give us an estimate. And I think that's what we're going to try to do. And we're going to see. We're in the research stage, okay? Nothing may come of it this time. I'm thinking in a few months, maybe we'll have somebody in the White House that would help a little with the rates and a lot of other things. I sure hope so. I sure hope so, because this is just for the birds, this economy. And the angry little man who lives up in the White House, as Donald Trump would say, you know, with a not so good brain and a big smile. But a lot of times it's not really a smile, it's a sneer. I told you I saw that my husband, when my dad, my old father, thought you were being an idiot and he was right and you were wrong, he'd go, you know, it's like, well, no, that's Joe Biden. That's Joe Biden. He spent the entire address, I understand, fussing us out, lying, as he always does. But anyway, I don't want to be talking about politics here, but I want to show you my success with the rat. This rat battle has been won. There may be others, but hopefully just mice. Mice I can deal with. They're dumber. They get in traps easier. So, especially with this bait. I mean, this is the only thing. Now, I have the videos where, leading up to when he actually got caught, he was very drawn to the smell of it. He's never just glanced at it before. And with the added attractant in there, it was a big allure. He was in and out. He'd go in from the side, right? And he didn't hit the pressure plate, because this is a big one. I mean, this thing is, just the body of it is 6.5 inches long. Just the body. And without the tail. And he had a reach. He had quite a reach. He could reach over into the little bait cup and take stuff out. So we started out, I put one of those little pellets that's the attractant, and it's got baking soda and all kinds of stuff in the pellet, and it's supposed to kill them. Well, it had peanut butter. I pulled out some of the peanut butter. I stuck one of those in the top, stuck some of the grains were in the top, and so he could reach in and grab something, and it would lure him in, hopefully with the attractant in there as well. So he had, I mean, there were 33, I want to see, about 30 triggers on the game camera of this rat going here and there and everywhere, and avoiding every trap except that one. And he was really interested in that bait, and he kept going back, and when it didn't snap, he'd go back again. I think it's easier for him to reach over from the side than it is from the front. But anyway, eventually got the better of him, and he's gone. And yeah, I feel better about that. But that tells me there's no way that was coming around the roll-up door. I thought it seemed big, and it's pretty big. It's not as big as like a wharf rat or something, but it's good size. So anyway, and if he was living in there and now he's not, it's very possible that I won't see any rats for a while. This is the first time I've ever had rats in a coop, ever. Now, rats will kill your chickens if they have a chance. A friend of mine years ago that I met on backyardchickens.com owned a 1800s antebellum kind of house in, I guess it was Virginia. And she, but came with it. She renovated this house, and with the house was one of those old barns. Big, huge. It's a huge barn, right? And of course, an old barn has its old problems. Probably had rat tunnels galore. Well, she was raising these beautiful blue, black, and splash Orpingtons, just like I was at the time. And we had what's what we had in common. We loved our Orpingtons, and she had rats kill her birds. They devastated her flocks. All these big rats just come up there and just eat on the birds at night. They come when they're on the roost. Chickens are pretty much defenseless on the roost, unless they have some bright light where they can see, because they don't see well in the dark. And so if they're on the roost and they're in this state of inertia, rats can come start chewing on them. And she lost a lot of birds just to rats. So rats are a serious problem. It's not just, oh, you have chickens, you're going to have rats. That's not necessarily true. The rats are drawn to the food. They love the grains that the chickens eat. They let the pelleted feed. They're fine with that too. The easiest thing to do is keep your floors swept up so that they have to go in a pen to get to it. Anyway, so that's that. And I've been on here too long. I just wanted to check you up on some of the things that have been going on here. And we will see what happens with the house journey. My husband is still, I think he's got pneumonia again, and so I gave him the antibiotics. And he seems like he's getting a little bit better, but he's coughed so much I think he cracked a rib, because he's in pain in his rib cage now. Serious pain. Ain't one thing, it's another, is it? So I'm going to catch y'all later. I don't think there's anything else I was going to talk about. But yeah, scary, scary, scary sloggers. Those chickens just... I've never seen chickens quite that dumb. Now, there's one that's very smart. Raina, the Easter egg that's brown, dark brown, got a dark beard, and brown and blue. She's, to me, my way of thinking, she's the prettiest one of them all. And she's calm, and she's sweet, and she's not a nut. And if I could have a whole flock of Rainas, I would be thrilled. But that's not how it turned out. So, yeah, I'm not going to have any more of those. We're done with that. Mina's still here. She's not doing well, but she's still here. She still enjoys sun, and she still challenged somebody to fence. So, as long as she's still doing that, I think she's probably got the will to live. So, catch y'all later. Bye.